Friends, this video is for those who not only want to trade, but want to make themselves a better trader. Friends, today on the Trader's Mind Code channel, we are going to talk about a book that will not only help you improve your trading skills, but will also awaken the coach hidden within you who will support you in every difficult moment. The name of this book is The Daily Trading Coach, a book that teaches every trader to control their mind and emotions so that they can remain calm even in the uncertainty of the market. Imagine when there are losses, when confidence is breaking, when the mind is caught between fear and greed, then there is someone who can make you understand, stop you, and show you the right direction. This is what this book does, but not through someone else, but through yourself. The Daily Trading Coach provides small lessons for every day that help you become your own coach. It teaches you how to recognize your mistakes, how to deal with psychological pressures, and how to improve your trading decisions. This is not just a book, but a mental training program that makes you emotionally stable, logically sharp, and psychologically strong so that you don't just see trading as a game of money, but adopt it as a profession. So if you really want consistency in trading, increase your confidence, and improve yourself a little more every day, then this video is for you. Watch the video till the end because it will give you a guideline that will change your trading journey. Welcome to Trader's Mind Code, where books provide the learning that changes lives. Chapter 1. Change the process and the practice. Imagine if every day you met someone who tirelessly and relentlessly guided you with one sole purpose, to make you better. Someone who understood your fears, felt your anger, and reassembled every broken bit of your courage. Now imagine that person is no one else but yourself. This is the true transformation. This is the change that starts not from the outside, but from within. In the world of trading, every day is a battle. The market sometimes takes you to the sky, and sometimes throws you to the ground. Sometimes it feels like you understand everything, and sometimes one jolt can turn years of your hard work into dust. In such a situation, the question is not how much knowledge or how many strategies you have. The real question is, can you change yourself? Because change doesn't come just by reading books. It comes when you dare to look inside yourself, when you accept that it's not okay to blame the market every time. The real answer is within you. Yes, right there, where there is fear, where there is greed, where hopes and the fear of loss fight. Together, many times, we feel that change is too big, too heavy, and too difficult. But the truth is that change starts with small decisions. A small step, like waking up in the morning and telling yourself, today I will be better. A small promise, today I will trade with my system, not my emotions. And these small decisions, day by day, transform you into someone who not only understands the market, but also understands themselves. But this path is not easy because the biggest enemy of change is your old self, who every time pulls you back to repeat the same mistakes, who every time after a loss says, maybe trading is not for me. But when you start recognizing that voice, when you start questioning it, that's when the real coaching begins. And the name of that coach is you. There will come a time when you will start talking to yourself, explaining to yourself, scolding yourself, and sometimes even praising yourself. All this will feel strange, but this is where it begins. These are the moments when you start seeing yourself without any fear, without any excuses. And this is the first step of self-awareness. Then you start noticing when your anger comes, when fear arises, and when you make a trade without thinking. This process of understanding yourself is slow, but when it continues, every day you become stronger than before. And then you understand that winning the market is not as important as winning yourself. Because if you control yourself, every fluctuation in the market will not be able to shake your decisions. You will remain clear in stillness and calm in a storm. This is the real change. This is the first step that makes you a disciplined, confident, and emotionally balanced trader. And yes, it will not happen in one day, but every day you will get a little closer to the person you always wanted to be. And whenever it feels like everything is going wrong, when it feels like you are back where you started, just stop for a moment and ask yourself, am I better today than yesterday? If the answer is yes, then understand that you are on the right track. So let's start. Give yourself a chance, because when you become your own coach, no market can defeat you. Chapter 2. Stress and Distress. Creative coping for traders. Have you ever experienced that moment when your heart starts pounding rapidly, when your breath becomes shallow and your fingers tremble on the mouse. That one trade, just one wrong click, and it's as if a storm erupts inside you. Think about it. It's not just about money. It's about fear, the fear of losing control, and most importantly, the fear of losing trust in yourself. Trading, from the outside, looks grand. Charts, screens, global markets, data, and decisions. But behind this glamour lies a silent battle, an inner struggle. And the most dangerous weapon in that battle is stress. Stress is not a visible enemy. It comes gradually. First, it takes over the mind, then the heart, and then it dominates every thought, every decision. You think you are trading, but in reality, at that moment, stress is trading. When a trade goes against you, its impact is not just on your portfolio, but on your sleep, your self-confidence, and even your relationships. You think, I wish I hadn't taken that trade. And from this wish, a strange restlessness is born, pushing you into panic every time. Many times, you try to convince yourself, calm down, it's just a trade. But your mind betrays you. It reminds you of an old loss. It reminds you of the day you lost a large amount of money. And then the cycle begins. Fear, doubt, hesitation, and overreaction. But this is precisely the moment where the real learning is hidden. The moment when you can ask yourself, am I running away from my fear, or am I learning to fight it? Look, losses are inevitable in the market. But how you handle those losses is the measure of your ability. Do you break down? Do you take revenge trades with double the quantity out of anger? Or do you take a deep breath, observe yourself, and calmly decide the next step? To defeat stress, you must first recognize it. You must admit that you also get scared, that you also break down sometimes. And there's no shame in that. You are human, not a robot. But it's important to understand that you cannot run away from stress. You have to feel it, understand it, and then transform it. When you start doing this, something magical happens. Slowly, you learn not to suppress stress, but to use it. You turn that fear into your energy. You turn that loss into your clarity. And in all of this, the most important thing is a safe space, a mind that doesn't judge itself, a mindset that says, it's okay to feel broken, but it's not okay to stay broken. This is where coping begins. Creative coping. This means finding a way that not only gets you out of stress, but also makes you stronger. This could be a small breathing practice or a reflective journal where you write your emotions. It could be a short walk or a conversation with a trusted friend. And then, when you return to your trading desk, you are not the same person. You are a little more grounded, a little more aware, and most importantly, a little more ready. Eradicating stress is impossible, but managing it, understanding it, and learning from it, that's the art that transforms an ordinary trader into a mentally strong professional. So the next time the market goes against your expectations and your heart pounds faster, just tell yourself, I'm not here to fight the market. I'm here to understand myself. Because the biggest battle is not the one in the market, the biggest battle goes on within us. And when you start winning this battle, that's when real trading begins. Chapter 3. Psychological Well-Being. Enhancing trading experience. Have you ever noticed that when you are emotionally happy, when you feel calm and balanced inside, your decisions are so clear? Your mind works quickly and your heart stays away from any unwanted haste. Now, imagine the same trade, the same chart, the same market, but this time you are troubled, irritable, full of fear and anxiety. Will the decision made at that moment be as strong? This difference is called psychological well-being. Trading is not just a skill, it's a mental journey, a journey where every day you have to manage your mind and heart carefully. Here, reading charts is not as important as reading yourself. Because when your mind is balanced, your trading also operates with clarity. However, in today's world, where every day starts with phone notifications and every night ends with market worries, maintaining mental well-being is not easy. Ask yourself, do you wake up fresh every morning? Do you have a positive energy within you that sustains you throughout the day? Or are you trapped in your own fatigue and stress, which slows down your thoughts and weakens your decisions? In reality, a good trader is one who can feel good about themselves, who knows when their energy is low, when their confidence is fragile, and when they need a break. Because when you take care of your body and mind, only then can you catch those subtle signals that the market sometimes sends without words. Many of us think that more screen time, more trades, and more hustle are signs of success. But have you ever noticed how much clarity there is when you trade with a focused mind on a relaxed day? And when you are tired, irritated, and unenthusiastic? How many mistakes are made with the same system? Mental well-being is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation on which every decision rests. When your mind is calm, you don't panic easily. You don't take impulsive trades by getting carried away by emotions. You maintain loyalty to your strategy. Now, imagine how much better your trading could be if you made your mind and heart feel a little better every day. Maybe you could do deep breathing for just 10 minutes every morning. Maybe you could write a trading journal at night, recording your emotions. Or perhaps just learn to accept your losses without breaking yourself. Because when you start loving yourself, you stop hating your mistakes. You understand them and then change them. Yes, it's not easy. Many times you will feel foolish. Many times it will feel like nothing can be done now. But remember, picking yourself up again is the biggest victory. To become a successful trader, you don't need charts. You need yourself first. You need to know yourself, your strengths, your weaknesses, and most importantly, your emotional triggers. Because you can never control the market, but you can definitely control yourself. And when you do that, losses don't break you, and profits don't make you arrogant. You remain grounded, present, and this is the true power that makes a trader a long-term winner. So the next time you sit at your trading desk, ask your mind one question: how am I feeling today? If the answer is good, move forward. If the answer is tired, first take care of your mind, because a calm mind is a sharp trader's greatest weapon. Chapter 4: Steps Towards Self-Improvement. The coaching process. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves at a crossroads where everything is hazy. We don't see what the next step will be, which path is right, or if we can truly reach the destination of our dreams. Trading is also such a journey. Every day, a new decision. Every moment, a new fear. And every mistake, a new lesson. But in this chaos, what helps the most is self-coaching. Now imagine if every day there was someone who sat with you, showed you your weaknesses, explained your mistakes, and then showed you the way to improve yourself. But this person is none other than you. So yes, it's not easy. Improving yourself, teaching yourself, this is a tough path. There are no cheers, no praise. There is only truth, bitter but necessary truth. And this journey begins with knowing yourself. When you trade every day, it's not just about money transactions. Your habits, your thoughts, your emotions, everything is involved in that one decision. Sometimes you abandon a trade due to fear, and sometimes you break a limit due to greed. And every time this happens, you think, why did I do that? But the answer is never found outside. It's hidden within. This is where self-monitoring begins. When you start writing your emotions, your trades, your triggers in a journal, slowly a pattern of your own psychology begins to emerge. As you observe, yourself, your biggest obstacle, yourself, stands before you. Now comes the real challenge. Are you ready to change yourself? Many people think that setting goals is enough. But the truth is that if goals remain only on paper and don't translate into action, they remain just dreams. You have to set goals for yourself that are measurable, achievable, and for which you can hold yourself accountable. Because until you become accountable to yourself, there will be no improvement. And improvement doesn't mean becoming perfect every day. It means becoming a little better every day. If today you are a little less impulsive than yesterday, if today you didn't take a revenge trade out of anger, then you are improving. And this process slowly changes you into a new person. The most important thing in this process is consistency. Writing a journal one day and then abandoning it, or analyzing once and forgetting, does not bring change. You have to practice this every day. Ask yourself a question every day. What did I learn today? And this learning will make you a better trader tomorrow. But remember, every change is interspersed with relapses, those moments when you repeat an old mistake. At that time, it's important not to curse yourself, but to understand yourself. Because change is not a straight line. It's a zigzag path where getting up after falling is the real victory. Now imagine if you treated yourself like a coach every day. What would happen? You would keep an eye on your decisions, understand your behavior, and slowly shape your habits. And when habits change, life changes. So stop judging yourself. Observe yourself, guide yourself, and most importantly, be patient with yourself. Because if anyone in this world can understand you best, it's you. And when you become your own coach, you become unstoppable. Make a promise to yourself. Every day, I will make myself a little better. I will fall, but I will not stop. I will get tired, but I will not give up. Because the real trading story is not in the charts. It's in understanding yourself. Chapter 5. Remapping the mind. Cognitive approaches to self-coaching. Has it ever happened to you that after a losing trade, your whole day was ruined? That one decision, made in a few seconds, shook your entire self-confidence. And then your mind started fighting with itself. How could I be so stupid? I can't do this. I always make mistakes. These voices don't stop. They get louder every moment. Now imagine if you could stop these voices in your mind. If you could recognize your thoughts, change them, and break the false beliefs hidden behind them. This is remapping the mind. The biggest battlefield in trading is not outside, it's inside your mind. This is where every thought is born that makes your strategy strong or weak. This is where emotions grow that sometimes scare you into running away and sometimes trap you in greed. But the good news is that our mind is like a blueprint that we can understand, change, and redesign from scratch. Every trader has some unconscious beliefs, such as, if I lose, I'm a failure, or if I don't take profit now, everything will be gone. These beliefs severely affect your decisions. You think you're acting logically, but in reality, your thoughts are being controlled by some old fear, guilt, or greed. Now, imagine if you could learn to catch these thoughts. Then you could not only change the market's movement, but also the movement of your own thoughts. This begins with awareness. When you record your emotions after a trade, when you write in your journal what you thought, what you felt, and why you did it, slowly a pattern begins to emerge. And by observing that pattern, you start to understand how certain thoughts repeatedly lead you to the same kinds of mistakes. This is where reframing comes in, seeing your thoughts from a new perspective. For example, if you took a loss and your first reaction was, I always lose, then pause, catch that thought, and ask, is that true? Do you always lose? Or have you also made consistent profits with discipline? When you challenge your thoughts in this way, your mind slowly takes a new direction. It no longer sees every event with extreme judgment, but starts thinking from a calm and balanced perspective. That a powerful technique here is cognitive restructuring. Whenever a negative thought comes to your mind, write it down. Then, think of an alternate version that is more logical and supportive. For example, I'm a failure becomes, I made a wrong decision, but I can learn from it. If I don't take profit now, everything will be gone becomes, my strategy says to hold, and I trust it. These small rewires bring big shifts in your mind. And then you are no longer impulsive. You are aware. You are in reflection, not reaction. Slowly, your mind starts working on a new map. Now it filters every event with clear logic and calm emotion. Now, loss doesn't break you but teaches you. Now, profit doesn't make you arrogant but keeps you grounded. But one thing is important to remember. This process doesn't happen in a day. It's a disciplined journey where you talk to yourself every day, observe your beliefs, and slowly give birth to a new mindset. The next time a negative thought arises in your mind, stop, see it, understand it, and ask yourself, is this thought helping my growth or holding me back? If the answer is holding you back, then change it. Because the greatest trader is one who learns to trade their mind before the charts. You cannot change the charts, you cannot stop the market, but you can definitely change the direction of your thoughts. And when thoughts change, every decision, every trade, and every result changes. This is the real victory. Redesigning the map of your mind in your favor. Chapter 6. Learning new action patterns. Behavioral approaches to self-coaching. Have you ever considered that every time you sit at your trading desk, you repeat certain habits again and again? Like incurring losses in the same pattern, taking the same impulsive trades, or closing winning trades too early. You know it's wrong, yet you keep doing it. Why? Because these aren't just mistakes. They are automated behavioral patterns controlled by your subconscious mind. Your mind has learned them through repeated actions, and now they've become a part of your behavior. But here's a question. If these patterns are learned, can't they be changed? Absolutely, they can. And this is the true story of this chapter. Behavioral self-coaching. Trading is a field where there's very little time to think. Decisions often have to be made in seconds. In such a situation, if your habits are weak, your reactions will also be impulsive. But if your habits are strong and well thought out, every trade will show clarity and calmness. Now, let's go back a little. When you learned to ride a bicycle as a child, how many times did you fall first? How many times were you scared? But then came a day when you could balance without thinking. Why? Because that skill became part of your muscle memory. Similarly, in trading, every reaction gradually becomes a habit. The problem starts when these habits become toxic, like overtrading, revenge trading, or taking trades without any setup. And the most difficult part is changing them, because they are no longer just decisions. They have become behaviors. So, how do you start? First, you need to understand your contingencies, that is, the signals that trigger your behavior. For example, anger after a loss, overconfidence after a profit, or taking any trade out of boredom. When you start identifying these triggers, you also gain the power to change them. Now comes the most important step, finding a replacement behavior. Suppose you have a habit of immediately taking the next trade after a loss. What could be its replacement? Taking a 5-minute break, taking a deep breath, or writing down the feelings of that moment in your journal. When you repeatedly practice the new response, a new pattern begins to form. The most powerful weapon for behavioral change is reinforcement. Whenever you make a good decision, acknowledge it. Reward yourself, whether it's a small compliment or 10 minutes of relaxation for yourself at the end of the day. Your brain associates this reward with that behavior and wants to repeat the same pattern next time. But there's also a danger here: relapse. This means you were on a new pattern, but a bad day came, and you returned to the old pattern. There's no need to be ashamed of this. It's human nature. But you need to recognize that moment, understand it, and then return to the right direction. Behavioral self-coaching is a battle against your own old self. And every time you stop yourself, make a new decision, create a new pattern, you achieve a small victory in that battle. Now imagine if you identified and worked on just one bad habit every day. How much could your trading change in a month? Can you imagine becoming a trader who is not only technically sound, but also emotionally stable and behaviorally disciplined? This is the real victory, because in trading, everyone has strategies, but success belongs only to those who control their habits. So, make a promise today. I will observe every reaction, understand every pattern, and make myself a little better every day. Because in trading, victory doesn't just come from charts. The real victory comes from relearning your actions. Chapter 7. Coaching your trading business. Have you ever thought of trading as a business? No, I'm not joking. Imagine if you had a restaurant, a factory, or an online store. How would you think? You would track every expense, every product, every customer. You'd keep an account of every day, every week, every month. So why is trading seen as just a money-making game? Trading, friends, is one of the toughest businesses. Here, your products are your decisions, your strategies. Your raw material is market data, and the real CEO of your company is you. But being a CEO means taking responsibility for every loss, every mistake. No blaming, no excuses. And this is where the real coaching begins, not just of the mind, but of the business mind too. Now, think. Are you operating your trading business with a proper plan? Or are you just sitting in front of screens every day, staring at charts and taking trades based on intuition? If you're operating without capital planning, risk management, revenue tracking, and growth mapping, then I'm sorry, you're not a trader, you're a gambler. And the most dangerous thing is that many traders realize this when it's too late, when All the capital is gone, confidence is shattered, and the mind feels empty. But change is still possible if you start seeing your trading as a professional business from today. The first question you should ask yourself is, do I have proper startup capital? That is, money that, if lost, won't impact my personal life, money I can risk with peace of mind. If not, then focus on building capital, not on trading right now. Second question, have I defined my risk per trade? Without knowing how much you can lose in a trade, you can go anywhere, and that anywhere is often ruin. Then comes tracking your performance. Every business tracks its sales, expenses, and profits. Why don't you? Have you ever looked at how many impulsive trades you took this month, which strategies worked consistently, and in which trades you got emotional? When you start keeping data, you have that mirror in which your true trader self is reflected, without filters, without excuses. And here comes another important part, execution quality. It's easy to create a strategy. Executing it is the hardest part. Did you always trade according to your plan, or did you panic and exit in between? The discipline of execution builds your consistency. Now, let's talk about diversification. Depending on just one market or one product is the biggest risk for a business. Imagine if your shop only sold one item, and one day that item was no longer available. That's why diversifying is important in trading too, in systems, in time frames, and sometimes even in markets. And the last, but deepest question, am I working with a growth vision in my trading business? Are you just looking at today's profit, or are you building a roadmap for where you want to be a year from now? Coaching doesn't just mean training your mind and emotions. It means structuring your entire system into a thoughtful, accountable format. Because if you want the market to take you seriously, you first need to take yourself seriously. So, from today, turn your trading diary into a business journal. Every day, don't just write what you bought and sold. Write why you bought it, how you thought, if the execution was right, if anything changed. And every month, have a meeting with yourself, just like a CEO has a meeting for their company. See what improved, what was lost, where you need to learn. Remember, this is not a game, it's a profession. A field where the more preparation, understanding, and structure you approach it with, the greater the chances of long-term success. So the next time you start trading, don't see it as a transaction. See it as a business decision. Because a true coach is one who strengthens their system as well as their emotions. Chapter 8. Looking for the edge, finding historical patterns. In markets, every trader has a dream in their eyes. I just need to find an edge. A way, a strategy that works repeatedly, that can provide clarity even in the chaos of the market. But the biggest question is, where is this edge found? Is it hidden in a YouTube video? Is it in a pro tip from a famous trader? Or is it hidden in our own data, our own history, and we just haven't learned to see it? The story of this chapter begins where a trader is tired of looking at charts, has lost to their emotions, and now wants to know the truth. Can I really understand this market? And the answer is yes, but not in the noise, in the facts, in history. Every successful trader knows they create an edge, they don't just find it. And the most powerful way to find it is through historical research. Now imagine if you could test your trading system against thousands of past candles to see in what conditions it works and in what conditions it fails. Wouldn't you stop taking blind trades? Many people think that data analysis is only for big professionals, but the truth is that Excel can be your greatest weapon if you learn to use it correctly. Suppose you make an observation when the S&P 500 falls by 2% in 2 days. There's a possibility of a bounce on the third day. Now, you can just feel this, or you can test it, backtest it. Open Excel, extract old data, and see how many such opportunities arose in the last 10 years and how many times a bounce occurred. As you start doing this, you begin to see patterns that once seemed random on the chart. You understand that the market is not just a battle of price. It's also a battle of psychology, and history repeatedly mirrors that psychology. But this path is not easy. It takes time. It takes patience. It's possible that many times you might feel like you're not finding any pattern or that your hypothesis might fail. But once you grasp a working edge, it can provide you with clarity for a lifetime. And the best part is, this edge is your own, not stolen, not borrowed from anyone. It aligns with you, with your risk appetite, with your mindset. And that's what makes it sustainable. Because in trading, The greatest weapon is not just the strategy, but conviction. When you know you have a tested system, your mind doesn't make emotional decisions. You don't fear losses, you consider them part of the process. And one day you're not just reading the market, you start understanding its language. So now the question is, where are you looking for your edge? Are you waiting for a shortcut? Or are you ready to dig that gold out of your own data? Because every time the market falls, it teaches something. And every time you're ready to learn, your edge deepens. Today, write down a hypothesis. Think of a small pattern. Test it. Maybe you won't find anything at first. But one day, in that same Excel sheet, amidst that same backtest, you will find a pattern that will become your confidence, your strategy, and your edge. And then you won't say, "The market is unpredictable." You'll say, "I understand it. I studied it. I earned my edge." Conclusion. So, friends, now that we have reached the final stage of this deep and self-reflective journey through the Daily Trading Coach, a question certainly arises. Have you come to know yourself a little more deeply? In this book, we learned that true victory is not in the charts, but in our thoughts. Every trade, every decision, every loss, and every win. The true source of all these is our mind. And until we coach the trader within us, no external system can bring consistency. This book is not something to be read once. It is a daily practice, a mirror that brings you face to face with yourself every day. It has come not to explain to you, but to make you feel that you have all the power you are searching for outside. Have you ever wondered what a trader actually loses when they lose? Not money. They lose their focus, their discipline, and most of all, their self-belief. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Trader's Mind Code, where books don't just change, lives change. See you in the next book with a new perspective. Thank you.